mid-sentence at the dinner table, so I just thought it would be easier if they don't respond. Not immediately. There's a small pause. Their eyes shift slightly to the side. Just for a second. That's when it happens. Your stomach tightens. A quick pull inward. Your shoulders rise. Your chest gets smaller. You keep talking. Faster now. You add details nobody asked for. You clarify something that wasn't questioned. You hear your own voice adjusting. You're already trying to fix something. But nothing has actually been said yet, and your body reacted before you even knew what you were reacting to. It's 7:42 p.m. The plates are still warm. A fork rests against porcelain. The overhead light hums softly. You're halfway through explaining why you changed the plan for the weekend. So I just thought it would be easier if we left Saturday morning instead of Friday night. They're chewing. They swallow. Their eyes move slightly to the left, toward the counter, not toward you. There's a pause, maybe 2 seconds. Your stomach pulls tight. Your shoulders lift. Your hands curl slightly against the edge of the table. You continue. I mean, because traffic would probably be lighter and we wouldn't have to rush after work. Your voice is thinner now, slightly faster. They reach for their glass. You lean forward. And I can pack everything Friday anyway. They take a sip. The tightness deepens. Your jaw sets. I just didn't want it to feel stressful. They put the glass down. I was just thinking, they say calmly, about whether we need to stop for gas. That's it. Your shoulders drop a fraction. Oh, yeah. We can do that Saturday. You look down at your plate. The fork scrapes lightly as you adjust it. You take a bite even though you're not hungry. A few minutes later, you check your phone under the table. No notifications. You lock it again. Conversation continues. Earlier, activation required something clear and visible. A direct objection. A raised voice. A sentence that confirmed disagreement. Now, it begins earlier. A pause. An eye movement. A slight delay. Previously, the body waited for confirmation before reacting. Now, it reacts when confirmation is only possible. What changed is not the pause itself. Pauses have always existed. What changed is when meaning attaches to them. A moment of silence is no longer neutral. It is treated as a potential problem. Nothing has been said, but the body has already begun preparing for correction. The sequence is quick. A pause appears. Almost instantly, it is interpreted as instability, not as a full thought, but as a subtle internal shift. Something might be off. That shift is enough. The stomach tightens because the situation is no longer red as settled. The shoulders rise because readiness is assembling. Attention narrows. Then speech changes. You speak faster. You add information. You clarify before being questioned. The body organizes first. The explanation comes later. By the time you consciously notice it, your tone has already shifted and the pace has increased. Activation does not begin with a personality trait. It begins with the meaning assigned to a small interruption. Tempo increases because silence is interpreted as misalignment. When misalignment is assumed, speed feels corrective. Speaking faster feels like closing a gap that might be opening. If the other person responds neutrally, the meaning changes. The silence is no longer a threat. When that interpretation shifts, the body releases. Behavior settles because the situation is no longer read as unstable. Speed followed interpretation, and it slows when interpretation changes. This is not social anxiety or insecurity as a trait. It is a rapid and ordinary sequence. The pause still exists. The body can still tighten. What changes is how quickly a neutral interruption becomes a problem that needs fixing. 10:18 a.m. You message your manager. Sent the revised numbers. Let me know if anything needs adjusting. The typing indicator appears, stops, appears again, stops, no reply. Your jaw tightens. You replay the spreadsheet in your head. You reopen the file, check the totals, still nothing. You send another message. Also double-checked Q3 assumptions. Your heart beats faster. Finally, got it. Reviewing. Your shoulders drop. You close the file. 6:32 p.m. You walk into the apartment. Your partner sits on the couch, shoes still on, staring ahead. Hey. They nod once. Look back at the wall. Silence. Your chest tightens. You scan the morning for something sharp you might have said. You okay? Yeah. Just tired. You step closer anyway. I can make dinner. 5 minutes later, they're talking normally. Your body is still slightly braced. Sunday, 4:57 p.m. You're leaving at 5. Your friend hasn't confirmed the address. You stare at the thread. Last message. Still good for 5? No response. Your stomach pulls inward. At 4:58, you text again. Heading out now, just checking the unit number. You put on your shoes faster than necessary. 5:01. A message appears. 3B, doors open. Your breathing shifts. Activation does not require intensity. It requires interruption. A pause. A delay. A neutral expression. Interruption is read as potential misalignment. That reading happens quickly and often before language forms. Once misalignment is assumed, the body prepares to correct. Attention narrows, speed increases, behavior shifts toward repair. The pattern is consistent. A small signal appears. It is interpreted as risk. The body contracts. Behavior accelerates. Most people believe activation begins with overt conflict. Often it begins much earlier, in ambiguity. When continuity breaks, the mind looks for cause. If that cause is placed internally, mobilization follows. Change the interpretation, and the reaction changes, even if the external event remains the same. The activation chain can shift at 3 points. It can shift when the signal first appears, if a pause is noticed without immediately being labeled as a problem. It can shift at the moment meaning is formed, if uncertainty is treated as incomplete information rather than error. It can shift in the body when the first contraction is felt without instantly reorganizing speech around it. The pause does not disappear. What changes is where interpretation solidifies and whether acceleration follows. Back at the dinner table, the pause still happens. Eyes shift. Silence appears. Sometimes the body tightens and speech speeds up. Sometimes the pause remains just a pause. The fork rests against porcelain. Conversation continues.